Hello guys, so today I want us to have a chat about the true cost of profitability in the market. What does it actually take for you to be a profitable trader? Especially in an industry where 95% of traders don't make money. So it seems so easy to make money from the market, especially when you open your X account or Instagram account. Every trader looks profitable. Every trader is probably doing a payout every day, every week. Every trader is showing you how they just caught a 10-hour setup every other time. But then the stats are showing a different story. The stats are showing that only about 5% of traders actually get to a point where they are consistently profitable. And some pro firms have shared their stats before, how less than, 3% of traders even get to their first payout. Some brokers have also shared before that in a whole year, less than 5% of their traders usually have a consistent track record where they are showing profitability. And this is why I often do things like showing you guys my account statement, which I did recently, showing you my quarterly breakdown, sometimes showing you some payouts and just showing you the progress I've had in some of the funded accounts I have. Because I can't be here preaching to you all these things if you can't have any proof that I've got to that point where I'm consistently profitable in the market. So in such an industry, what does it actually take to be profitable? Beyond things like being told to just backtest, journal, collect data, find a strategy, all that is very useful and helpful. But as someone who has been trading for 7 years, almost 8 years, I can tell you for free, you'll be tested in different ways in the market. You'll go through different stages in your career as a trader. Some of them will affect you mentally, some will affect you emotionally, maybe. Some might even affect you physically. True story, you might find people who've been sick just because of having a bad day in the market. You might have a headache, so it actually affected you. Or there have been some extreme cases of people maybe losing money in the markets and maybe, harming themselves because of some depression or something. Out of every 1,000 people, almost 50 of them are the only ones who will achieve profitability. And it could even be less. This is what the stats have been showing. So through my 7-year experience in the market, I've gone through different phases, stages where, of course, no one will believe in what you are doing in the market. Especially like 7 years ago, you tell someone you're doing Forex and they look at you and wonder whether you're actually serious with life. Myself, I started trading when I was early in campus. And back then, everyone was busy studying and I was busy trying to look for money in the markets. Trading wasn't so popular as then, especially publicly in terms of social media as it is right now. So you'd go through stages where no one will actually believe in what you're doing, and sometimes it's just safer for you to keep your mouth shut. Don't speak so much about what you're trying to achieve with trading until you get to a point where maybe you have some profitability, and then the results will speak for themselves. When I started trading, no one used to believe in what I was doing in my class in campus. I don't mean to brag, but I'm very sure right now because I just finished my university like 2 years ago or something. But since then, I've never gone out there looking for a job. So do I regret the path I took in trading? I don't. But then this is just the rosy part because now I'm at a place where I can risk $2,000 per setup and make $6,000 using prop farm on just one trade. I'm at a place where I'm scaling my capital and potentially aiming for that 7-figure mark, meaning more profits, of course, if we get to that scaled up capital. But you see, before all this, there were stages where I had a lot of doubts in terms of what I was doing. I almost quit. On a monthly basis, there was a reason to quit trading because there were no results. My expectations versus the reality was quite different. And to make it worse, lacking that direct mentorship means you're trying to just juggle around videos online, doing some trial and error and hoping that you'll figure something out. So you check online, traders are buying Lambos, they're buying cars, but yourself, you're 2-3 years in and you cannot see any hope in trading. So depending with any stage you will go through in your trading, whether it's an emotional stage where no one is believing in what you're doing, whether it's a mental stage where you're just blowing accounts constantly, it could be a stage where you've blown accounts and now you're broke and you don't believe in yourself anymore. You've tried different strategies and nothing is working. It doesn't matter where you are. I want to share with you about 4 to 5 things which I believe you will need for you to get profitable consistently in the long term. If somehow you ignore or skip on any of these things, trust me, you're going to learn the hard way from the markets. You're going to get punished for a very long time and potentially even quit if you never learn your lesson. Now, before we continue, let me introduce you to the Stu App, which is a very useful trading tool. It allows you to calculate your position sizes before taking on that trade. I do have the links of the app in the description, but first, let me walk you through. Once you have the app installed in your phone, you want to click on it. Let's assume you want to calculate your lot size, you want to take your next trade, and you're trading an account of $100,000. the next thing is the risk amount. What is the dollar amount you want to risk? Let's assume I want to do a 1.5% risk, which means I'm risking about $1,500. And the stop loss of my trade in terms of pips is 15. You click the arrow here next, then you need to select the currency pair you are trading. Let's say I'm trading GBP, USD, then you press on calculate. Within a second, you do get the exact lot size you need to use, which is selected here to be a lot size of 10. So this makes your work very easier. Keep in mind, this is a mobile app, so you can use it anywhere, and it makes it very easy in terms of flexibility. Just to walk you through a couple of features on the app. On the left menu, we do have the settings. Under the settings, you can choose to calculate either in terms of the dollar amount or in terms of percentage. You can select whether you want to be given the position in terms of the lot size, the units, or the mini lots, depending with what you are comfortable with. For myself, I prefer lots because I want to get the exact lot size I'll use on my MT5 trading platform. So basically that's it with the Stu app. So as a trader, this tool will come in handy. You want to make sure you have predefined your risk before executing your next setup. I do have their links in the video description. That being said, let's get back into the video. So the first thing you'll need in your path to becoming a profitable trader is a mindset shift. See, when you come into trading, at least 90 to 95% of us started because we saw the flashy lifestyle online, or we came in because we were seeing people making a lot of profits and living a good life. So you come into trading most of the time because you want to make some money, whether quickly or sometime in the near future. You probably want to get yourself a car, you want to maybe pay some debts or just sort out your bills, and you think trading is going to be your vehicle. Now, as much as this is all nice, you need to understand that at some point your mindset has to shift from just aiming to make the money to understanding that unless some things are got right first, the money will never come to you. And this will require you to shift to having a long-term mindset where you start to view trading as a normal career path which has its own ups and downs, which still requires a lot of learning and proper knowledge foundation before you can even go to the market, which is also a skill that requires some practice here and there before you can get some things right. And in the process, you might make some mistakes. So your mindset needs to shift to accept these things. However, the advantage is it's a high income skill, meaning the day that I'll be able to get all these things together, even though it's just a career like any other which can have its own ups and downs, the advantage here is if you get everything right in this career, then you can end up making a lot of money from the markets. Of course, a lot than the average person would make in any other industry. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. A market which does a $7 trillion daily turnover. Even if you make $1 million per day and you're using a regulated broker, you should not have any problem getting your money paid because it's not a market which is struggling with any liquidity issues. So once your mindset shifts, automatically you'll start focusing on putting in the right steps required first to assist you to be grounded well enough to approach the markets instead of focusing on the money. And when you put all these things together, you have a system, you do some data collection, you take some time to understand your behaviors and yourself so that you can find a way to be disciplined around the market, discipline in your execution, be patient. Once you put in all the structures in place, because your mindset has shifted, eventually it's inevitable that you get to a point of now profitability. Not because you are chasing money, but because you focus to do the right things first. If your mindset never shifts, you can be here for the next 4, 5, 6 years, doing the same things in cycles and never achieving any consistent profitability. So that's the first thing. Second thing you'll need to have in place, I'll call it hard work or commitment, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, most of the time we just tell you need a strategy and all those things. But no one speaks about the fact that you also need to be a hardworking individual for you to get to a point where you can build a system in the market. If you are a lazy person, you won't be able to backtest constantly because you don't just backtest one day and then you close your laptop and say, no, I have a system. After backtesting, you'll often need to refine your system. You'll often need to journal and look at your strategy, go back in the market, try to see what you've been doing wrong and what you need to improve on. So it requires some level of commitment. And if you're someone who just wants things to happen easily and you can't put in any work, which is just a soft way of saying that you're a lazy person, unfortunately, you won't be able to build yourself into becoming a profitable trader because things like backtesting, data collection are what will even help you to understand yourself more in the market so that you can even understand what suits me more, what trading style is working well with me between swing trading, scalping. You'll need to try them all at some point. And no one talks about how data collection takes time, how data collection can be mental and can be stressful sometimes. You can backtest a strategy for a whole 1, 2, 3 year period. You collect the data. just for you to realize that it actually doesn't work. So guess what? You need to try to backtest again and maybe change 1 or 2 parameters and see whether it will work with a different stop loss, with a different break even. And still, there is no guarantee that just because you backtested twice or thrice, that strategy will be profitable. Before I came to the strategy that I use right now, I've tried using different approaches. Some have been profitable for a couple of months and then eventually they stop working. Some of them have been profitable for 1 month and I thought I've actually got the holy grail. Then the next 2-3 months I start losing. So I had to always go back in the market again, try to find a different approach, try to test different price action concepts and see how they've been working. You also need to test many different markets. So many traders usually ask a question of what pair should I trade? As if they just expect you to tell them, trade UJ, trade gold. It's not as simple as that. You need to identify your trading style. You need to try out different concepts, whether it's SMC, whether it's just pure price action, looking at levels or zones in the market, or just candlesticks. Whatever it is, you need to first grasp that knowledge. You need to test different pairs. Before I was able to decide I'm trading UJ or CAD JPY, I didn't just wake up and chose those markets. I tested different pairs. I don't think there's any pair in the Forex market I've not studied, whether it's in terms of backtesting or forward testing. You name any pair, any instrument, whether it's gold, the Nasdaq, US30. I had to try all those things before I realized that I'm struggling with these maybe high volatile markets. Let me try to look for different currency pairs. Even in the currencies, I've tested Euro USD, GU, GJ, name them. So typical traders imagine you just need to come into the market and I'll start trading gold. Why? Because I've seen many people have been passing prop firms with gold. But those guys have tested that market, they have collected data around it and built a system. But you don't have one. You want to trade it just because you've seen others trading it, because you've heard it moves fast. But you see, it doesn't work like that. But many traders are lazy. That's why I said you'll need some hard work or level of commitment for you to get to a place of consistent profitability. Put in the work, collect data, try out different pairs, forward test, try different styles. I trade a lot of price action, but I've traded SMC before. I've actually learned ICT, I think, in my, was it second year of trading? In my second year of trading back then, I think I learned ICT. Nowadays, ICT does free videos. Back then, ICT used to have a mentorship of like, was it $100 a month? And it used to go for like 12 months. So these free videos started, I think, like 3 years ago or something, is when he started putting all the models online. But back then, ICT used to be like very expensive to join the mentorship, and we used to look for these leaked videos on Telegram. You try to watch them. So I've tried literally anything you can think of before I was able to decide that I'm going to be trading support and resistance. And that is how you truly become profitable, because you're not just trading a strategy because other people say it's profitable. You've tried different things. You've gone through the fire yourself. You've got to a place where you understand some pairs are better off with me than others. So that's why you can't find me overly excited and trying to jump to take a trade on gold just because someone made a 10R on gold. I know you might go there and have the exact opposite results, because maybe my personality is not so patient in terms of waiting for a 10R, or maybe my personality just can't work with a market that is moving very fast every other day. So if you don't put in the work for you to be able to build yourself and understand what type of trader you are, what type of pairs you prefer based on the data you've collected, and you're just expecting to try to copy what you see others doing online, you'll be here for a number of years wondering why you are trying so many strategies but nothing is working, because you've not taken enough time to actually put in the real work to understand who you are in the markets and what works for you. The third thing you'll need in your journey to profitability is something I call passion. We could look at passion similar to resilience. I think I can combine them as just one point. Now, passion will come in at the place where you'll have days where you've blown a couple of accounts, but what's keeping you going? You understand? You've been trading for 3 months and you are constantly losing. Nothing is making sense. You've tried 10 strategies and still so far there is no proof of profitability. But somehow you're still going. If you don't have some degree of passion or some level of resilience in you, you'll have every reason to quit trading in your first 3, 4 to 6 months, because those are some of the toughest months. You've learned price action, you have some knowledge and you're now happy. You watch YouTube videos which make you think trading is very easy. Someone shows you a trend line and they tell you when it breaks the trend line, buy or sell. You put your trend line there, but it breaks and you sell and nothing actually happens to your favor. Or you learn support and resistance from my channel and then all you hear is buy at support, sell at resistance. You go try to apply the same thing at your support and it's not working. It doesn't necessarily mean the concept was taught in the wrong way. It's just that you've not grown to understand that despite the fact that you learned a concept, you still need to test it and combine different confluences depending on the market you're trading for you to make it work all together. And once you actually understand and master this, regardless of the approach you use, it may take you a couple of months, but with proper data collection, you will easily build a strategy around any concept, whether it's just trading candlesticks alone, whether it's trading that SMC, that ICT concepts, whatever you want to trade. It becomes easier when you understand what actually it takes for you to build a strategy. So the journey of trading will not be easy. And if you don't have some degree of passion or some level of resilience within you, if you quit easily because you had 2 or 3 losing months. In fact, if I say 2 or 3 losing months, I make it look as if it's very easy. Let me paint for you a clear picture. For 3 years in trading, I was not making money. You understand? For 1, 2, 3 years, I was actually losing and blowing accounts. Back then, prop firms were not a thing. So I was trading my own personal accounts, $10, $20, $50, maybe $100 once in a while. I was blowing them up consistently for 3 years. So when I say 3 months, you might think, 3 months is a short time, then eventually I'll be profitable. I'm not saying it will take you 3 years, but I'm just giving you a picture. If I was not resilient for those 3 years, I'd probably not be here right now making videos about trading and showing you my trading journey. Let's talk about my prop firm journey. If I'm not wrong, I think I'm probably 3 years in prop firms. In my first year trading prop firms, I blew multiple challenges. Of course, I can argue back then we still had the 30-day limit. We didn't have unlimited days back then. And it just goes to show how there's been a lot of changes in the trading industry. The traders who are trading right now prop firms and you found unlimited days, you're very lucky. If you came into prop firms and now you have all the time to pass a challenge and you're still complaining that they're difficult, ask those guys who traded when we had a 30-day limit. You take a 200k FTMO account back then, it cost you about 1,080 euros. And you have 30 days to pass. So if 30 days end and you've not passed your $1,000 just like that, it's disappeared. Whatever challenge you take, I've just used a big account to show you the perspective, but let's even say you take a 10k, 20k. Number one, they were more expensive. There were no discounts back then. And we are still blowing accounts month after month. Because if the 30 days end and you've not passed your account, you failed and you have to take another test again and pay for it. So if I was not a resilient person, how do you think I would have survived during those phases? If I was easy to quit just because I've had a couple of challenges blown. But if I look back to now, I don't regret anything because all these things build me into becoming the trader that I am today. Let's talk about the sleepless nights you'll probably have. You've been trading for a couple of months and things are not clicking yet. And according to you, you maybe have some bills and you think you need to make money from the market. Another reason why I say you need to have some passion is because you need to get to a point where you just believe in yourself. You know, many people start things, it could be trading or any other career path, and you're expecting people to believe in you so much than you believe in yourself. So you're there complaining because no one believes in trading. You see, the truth is, you're the one who is interested in that career. You're the one who has that vision to become a profitable trader. And at some point, you need to stop feeling bad about the fact that other people don't believe in what you're doing. As long as you know it works, you put in the right amount of work and eventually you'll see the results. So you need to have a certain level of passion or resilience such that even if nobody is believing in the fact that trading works, because you've already seen it and you understand what it takes to actually be a trader, you put in the work and just wait for the results to show. You know, nowadays I meet many people asking me to teach them how to trade, and around 6 years ago, when they used to see me on my phone looking at the markets, they used to wonder, what is this guy doing? But when you have the results, you are doing those payouts, and most importantly, it's reflecting in your life. Everyone becomes interested. So don't focus so much on the fact that nobody believes in you. Because at the end of the day, no one owes you more belief than yourself. If the vision is yours, you're the one who needs to believe in yourself more. You should have less attachment to what people think about what you're doing, your goals, and your vision. Put in the right work and allow the results to speak for themselves. The last thing you will need on your journey to profitability, which I believe is the fourth point, is patience. Now, patience is the part that many of us don't like, because when you talk of patience, we are talking about maybe going for a year and you're not profitable yet. Maybe you've gone for a year and you're learning, practicing, but you're not making any profits yet. This is the part that doesn't sound so interesting, because when I show someone that I made $4,000 on one trade right now, it's very impressive. When I tell them for 3 years I wasn't making money and I had to be patient during all that period, it's the part where they start asking me, is there a way you can make me profitable very fast? You understand? So they want the results, but they just want to somehow skip the time it will take for them to backtest, the time it will take for them to understand themselves in the market, the time it will take for them to gather that experience, for them to build that psychology. You won't build your psychology within a day. You won't even build it within 3-4 months. Yes, you'll be making positive steps on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, but there's someone who once said, how will you become a profitable trader within 6 months or a year, when within even a year you've not seen what a complete trading cycle looks like. See, you might come into the market at a period where the market is just trending bearish. Then you check the setups and you're just winning. There's a certain year, I don't know whether it's 2 or 3 years ago, Euro USD was just selling like the whole year. In that year, if you are selling Euro USD, weekly, you are guaranteed you are going to make some money. Whether you are using ICT, fair value gaps, or order blocks for NT, it didn't matter. Whether you are using resistance to sell, it didn't matter. Whatever approach you were using, most of the time Euro USD was selling that year. You can just go and check on your trading view. I'm not sure whether it was the other Trump era, but my point is, if you come to the market at a certain time, you will make money and think you're a profitable trader. Then you have a cycle like this where now Trump is in office and every day he has some bombshells. And your price action is not looking clean consistently the way you are used to. Then you notice it's a different type of market. You get a market that is now more choppy. Once in a while, you get a market that is maybe consolidating and you're just used to seeing the trends. And your strategy is not working anymore. So you see, even though within 6 months to 1 year, you might be making some money, don't get me wrong, for you to get to a point of true profitability consistently, you will need to go through some cycles in the market, and these will take time. So patience is a very key factor in the markets. You can't be so fixated on thinking you need to achieve it all as soon as possible. Let's talk about the money, the profits you make in the market. If you start trading today, let's assume you're profitable within 1 year. Within 1 year, profitability to me is making anywhere 3 to 5% a month consistently. If you can do that, then you're a profitable trader. So let's assume within a year you are doing that, right? Let's assume you have some money and you deposited some $2,000 on your live account. 3% on a $2,000 account is still $60 a month. Now, are you profitable? Yes, but are you making some money? Very little. Are you making good money from the markets? Not yet. Why? Because you have a capital problem. So here comes a stage where even after profitability, you'll need to start working on building up your capital. Whether you'll use your personal capital and choose to compound, or let's assume you'll go the prop firm route. Prop firm still will require you to purchase a challenge. Let's assume you start with a 10K or a 20K account. There is no guarantee you will pass every account just because you're profitable. You might even start and fail a couple of accounts, though you already have a working system. Regardless of the amount of time it will take you, let's say 3-4 months later, you are funded on a 20K account. You do some withdrawals. Then from those withdrawals, you can now choose to buy a 100K account. Long story short, by the time you're getting to your first 6 figures in funding or 7 figures in funding, it will have taken you maybe another 1 year or something. So you see, even after getting profitable, you still need to be a patient individual to go through all this process without feeling the need to rush. The opposite is true. If you try to rush the process, you will be profitable and you will now start failing the challenges. Because rushing the process means you now want to pass the challenge faster, you want to compound your capital very fast. You'll end up maybe over leveraging, over risking, or taking some bad trades in the process. Then you'll go 3, 4, 5 steps backwards. So basically, I've just given you 4 very significant points that you need to work around depending with the stage you are in your trading for you to get to a place of actual profitability. Maybe I missed out on something. Feel free to share in the comment section. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, guys. Peace.